Aaron Weber. We're in Nashville doing the movie Rudy. Aaron, thanks for joining us, man.
Absolutely, man. Thank you for having me. Thank you for letting me pick this movie. This is an important movie to me. It's I don't know if it's not the best movie ever made, but it's my favorite movie.
When did you see this movie for the first time?
I think when I was 7 or 8. This is a big movie in my house. We were a Notre Dame family. My dad went to school there. My aunt went to school there. My 2 older siblings went to school there. So this was like indoctrinated. They indoctrinated us with this movie very early on.
So this is like when you saw it, it was like, oh, inject this into my veins over and over again.
Yeah, that everything I wanted. It was a sports movie. It was about an underdog. You know, that's me right there. That was me.
Do you have any brothers? Or
Yeah,
anything?
I got an older brother and
Okay.
a younger brother, and an older sister. So my older brother and sister went to Notre Dame before me, and then I followed suit. So
You try to walk on?
no, no, but because of this movie and because of the legend of Rudy, that's a big deal at Notre Dame, more than probably other schools. I had some buddies that walked on. I had 2 really good friends that walked on, and it's a big deal. You do think about it, right? But then I'm so undersized. I'm so not athletic.
So was Rudy, dude.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Rudy was undersized. He had the heart of a champion, though, which I don't have.
Well, how would you describe your heart?
Enlarged.
Speaking of your brothers, if I said to you, "What's up, cool?" would that mean anything to you?
That would mean a lot to me. Yeah. What? How do you know that?
So, one of my best friends in college was a guy named Joe Greenwood.
Oh, you know Joe Greenwood? Oh my God, I didn't know that.
I played so much Halo with Joe Greenwood when we were
Oh
freshmen.
my God!
And
yeah.
I probably laughed harder with him. I've got a great Greenwood story for you, actually.
Yeah.
He, freshman year, so we're pledging Sigma Nu together, and he had to, like, our pledge trainer was like, hey, wash all my stuff. So he gave him, like, all his clothes and his laundry, and Greenwood washed everything and gave it back to him. And he's like, Greenwood, where are my sheets? Just like, what are you talking about? He's like, where are my bed sheets, dude? And so his bed sheets just go missing. So the whole running joke throughout, like, the next 6 months of our lives is like, where are my damn sheets, Greenwood? He started calling them green sheets.
Green
and
sheets.
then, like, towards the end of pledgeship, he'd be like, Greenwood, dude, I just want to know, like, if I come over there and find you sleeping on these sheets, I'm going to beat you with a sock that has soap in it.
Code red. Yeah. What happened to the sheets? Did you ever find out?
Yeah, he says he to this day, he's like, dude, I had no clue what happened.
It's a brilliant move. That's how you make sure no one asks you to do their laundry again.
Right. Stuff's gonna go missing.
He never did his laundry again either. That really is.
That's so
low-key
crazy,
brilliant.
man. What a small world.
Isn't it though?
Yeah, yeah. He and my brother were good friends, and that's how they would talk.
He says he takes, or he told me he takes a lot of credit for your comedy.
I don't know about that. I mean, I haven't talked to or thought about him in a long time, but I'll let him have that, you know?
Oh, yeah, I thought you would say something along those lines.
Good dude, though. Good dude.
Oh, man, love Joe.
Well, Aaron, before we get started, we have a few gifts for you.
Oh, yeah?
I'm curious if you could identify this hat.
Well, my goodness. I've never seen this in person. This is an IPS hat, which is, of course, the fictional company that Doug Heffernan works on in The King of Queens, the International Parcel Service.
Well, congratulations. You just won the next prize, which
What is that?
the best season of King of Queens.
I already have 2 copies of this season. This is amazing. This is so cool. Thank you, man.
Yeah, no,
That's not. I need to keep getting these. Yeah. IPS.
When we were doing some research on you, we just got tickled over your video during quarantine of the guy with the DVD collection.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, where I had 2 copies of the 3rd season of King of Queens.
Lady in the Water?
Lady in the Water, yeah. It's not that good, but yeah.
I own it.
This is awesome,
What
man.
are some other bad movies that you love? Anything that comes to mind?
I don't know about bad movie. You know what? I have a lot of bad shows that I've been watching. Which like all my wife's shows are just, I mean, they're just awful. And what was the show we just watched? Oh God, it was like Tell Me I'm Pretty or something. And it was, I mean, everybody in the show is like a morally reprehensible person. It's not funny. It's not interesting. It's just, I couldn't stop watching it. I do love stuff like that. And I'll watch all the like Real Housewives shows I'll watch with them too. And it's just not good. And I think it's probably like the end of American society, these shows.
Did you always Love Is Blind?
We watched the first season of Love Is Blind. Yeah, and I felt that way too.
I got suckered into that.
Yeah, you can get bought into it. You know, it's just trash TV, but like it works. You know, it's like a bad drug.
I'm not sure how you guys do Christmas at your house.
Okay,
I know that
we usually do it on a podcast.
Yeah,
yeah, we do it just like this.
Sense.
Oh, dude. Wow, this is cool Christmas ornament. Look at this. I like this podcast, man. I'm just getting gift after gift after gift. This is incredible, man.
But then, so I know you had a bit, though. I know you said you're Christian, and then you have a bit about, like, converting Lucy.
Right.
But in case, for some reason, you don't convert her and she converts you.
Oh, look at that. Oh, dude. Just in time for Hanukkah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. How about it? A Notre Dame yarmulke. That is amazing.
Yeah,
dude.
and so I also had ordered, I know you love Arby's, and I'd got you, like, this 10-gallon Arby's hat, but it didn't come in time. And I emailed them about it, and it was so frustrating. They wouldn't email me back. I couldn't get the hat. And I was like, it was more reasonable and possible to find a Jewish Catholic yarmulke than to get Arby's to respond to a dang email.
Wow.
It was so frustrating.
That's amazing, man. Yeah, Notre Dame yarmulke. I don't think I've ever seen one of those. I did have a professor that was Hasidic Jew at Notre Dame.
Really?
Yeah, there was a Hasidic Jew sort of community that lived on campus there. And you'd always want those teachers as your professors because you got all the Jewish holidays off. And they have like a major holiday like every month or something, just like, I mean, not just Yom Kippur or these, but stuff you just never heard of. And you're like, all right, yeah, I'll take class off for that day. Yeah. That's one thing the Jews got figured out. Better not yell that too loud in this apartment complex. Huh? They're like, what is going on in that place? But it's true. This is a great part of Rudy right here. This is his last high school practice. And this is right after his head coach says, you guys are never going to play football ever again in your life. Which is kind of a crazy thing to tell your kids that want to play football.
But later. It's cool when it comes back in the end.
That's right. I mean, he proves them wrong. That's the whole point of this movie. Oh, God, my watch is trying to help out. What were you going to ask? My last practice?
Do you remember, like, your last practice?
Well, I was lucky enough that I played full pad football in college. All 4 years, not Notre Dame football. Obviously, I would have led with that.
Yeah,
we were talking about Rudy, but we have full pad intramural leagues, so I was able to play that all 4 years of college. So I'm trying to think. So maybe like the emotion of your last high school practice or game, I didn't have that because I thought I would be playing, later. Yeah. But. That's definitely a big emotional moment the last time you take off your pads. I remember being in the locker room and everybody takes your pads off for the last time, just men just weeping in there. Yeah. Like, it's all bets are off. You're crying, you're hugging each other. It was a weird time for sure.
It's the closest I feel to like most of my like friends that like we never talked, and I haven't talked since.
Yeah.
But it's like we cried together the last time we played football, and then like it's a little you have a different relationship with that. Like you see them out, and you're just like,
yeah, like, you've been to war together.
Yeah.
That was always my biggest pet peeve in football. I had great coaches, but everyone always used these war analogies, and you just feel so silly. Oh yeah, dude, we're 2-9, and we're playing a game, and they're like, "We gotta storm the bridges or whatever." You're like, "My God, dude, we're going to play a game."
You want this man in your foxhole?
They love that. They love a foxhole.
So speaking of football, next gift, it's a record.
Oh my God, center field. John Fogerty. I have a big. Oh my goodness.
You can see the lyrics. If you ever, oh, sorry.
You're good. There's center field right there. Put me in, coach. Wow.
How do you feel about that?
Well, it's a little upsetting to see in person. I've been making the argument for the better part of a decade now that the lyrics of Center Field by John Fogerty are "Put me in cold, I'm ready to play." Somebody told me that at a bar in college, and I've been repeating it for a long time because in my mind that's an interesting thing to say. But now I've got these are the official lyrics from John Fogerty.
I believe so.
Put me in, coach.
I'm not running one over you.
I don't believe it, dude. I want you. I think
John Fogerty's hard to understand, though. Like,
has he ever been asked this directly about? I mean, the lyrics are one thing, but maybe he started saying "cold," as "Put me in, coach. I'm ready to play. Put me in, coach. I'm ready to play today." Well, that's amazing, dude.
Is CCR the ultimate like football soundtrack or Vietnam?
I think only because. Well, I think it's Vietnam. It's like the prototypical Vietnam soundtrack. Yeah, Fortunate Son.
I'm just curious which one you think of first.
When I hear the I think of helicopters. Yeah.
Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump, for sure.
Definitely.
But remember the Titans.
Mm-hmm.
CCR, it's got a high school football vibe to it now, too. Yeah. Spirit in the Sky, that whole soundtrack is so synonymous with high school football now that, I think of both of those things. My two favorite things: war,
Men going to battle,
war, and amateur athletics. That's what I'm into for sure. Here's an iconic scene that's being played in the movie right now. This is it's Rudy's birthday, and Pete, his friend, who's about to die in the next two scenes, gives him this Notre Dame jacket that he found at a wholesale store. And that jacket can now be bought at the Notre Dame bookstore. It's called the Rudy jacket now. And you look like a real pud wearing it. But, because you're wearing essentially a prop from a movie. That jacket doesn't exist anywhere else.
Well, our next gift is this jacket we got.
Is it? Oh, my goodness.
No, I'm just kidding. But
Man, what is it?
This is a movie you mentioned on the podcast you do.
Is this? Whoa, my favorite spy movie of all time, National Treasure. This is Nicolas Cage's. This is
the ID badge he uses, like sneak in.
Oh my!
Still the independence
God,
of the
dude.
Declaration. Yeah.
Wow, this is incredible. How do you know all this stuff?
Just a lot of free time. You know?
Okay, yeah. Oh,
They
this
don't
is
have a
so
lot
cool.
going
We're
on.
really not doing great at work right now.
Yeah. Wow, the best spy movie of all time. Do you think that National Treasure is a spy movie? Because nobody backed me up on that.
I watched it after you said that, and it definitely has a lot of spy elements. It's a heist movie, right?
Oh, a heist movie. I guess that's, I don't know if that's that important of a distinction. I mean, he's spying. He's lying to people. He's going undercover.
Classic espionage.
Yeah, I would say.
He's spying on shit.
Yeah. Man, the second movie not that good, but that original National Treasure is pretty darn good.
I never watched the second one, but I rewatched the first one just to be like, I haven't seen this since I was a kid. And I loved it when I was 14. I was like, this is the best movie ever.
Did you not like it now?
Great. No, I still was like, this is great. I remembered everything. I was like, how do I know everything that's happening in this movie?
Is that your favorite Nicolas Cage movie?
Yeah, I think that's probably a pretty short list. I don't know. I'm trying to think of what else I really like him in. What was that movie? Do you guys like Nicolas Cage a lot?
Sometimes he can be good.
Yeah, he can. Yeah, he can be great. There's some movie.
I won't have my feelings hurt.
No, I'm not. I don't even remember the movie, but I remember one particular scene of it. It's where Nicolas Cage can like see every alternate, every like thing play out in his head. Like you know what I'm talking about?
He's like Nicolas Cage but limitless.
Kind of, yeah. But he could, yeah.
I don't know. Maybe
All
knowing.
right, I should have read into that a little more. But there's one scene of that movie.
Is it knowing?
That's what I was guessing, but maybe I don't know.
There's one scene where he's looking at a guy and he goes, "There's one way out of this," and the guy does something. He goes, "That wasn't it," because he can see every iteration of reality.
Okay, that sounds like a
right,
Rick and Morty episode.
Oh, maybe it was. I don't even know if it was Nicolas Cage, to be honest with you.
That was just Doctor Strange in the Marvel movie, dude.
It might have been.
All right, last thing, Aaron.
Oh, dude. What is this?
So,
Office Max.
yeah. So you know it's good.
Office Depot. Are Office Depot and Office Max?
It's like the same thing. I can't imagine.
What's the difference between Office Depot and Office Max?
The Depot has a little train station next to it.
There's no Home Max, though.
Wait, what?
There's no Home Max. There's a Home Depot.
There's Betamax.
That's
But
true.
there's a Betamax. That's very... Look. Oh, my God.
I reached out to Kerr Smith.
Did you really?
And he, so I was going to get I saw your logo had like you with an Atlanta Braves hat on it. But originally I was like, well, he's way more of a Notre Dame fan than an Atlanta Braves fan.
Whoa.
So I was going to get you, to do the Notre Dame hat. And he was like, well, actually, Aaron just reached out a month ago to get new logo stuff with Notre Dame. So then we decided to do the Rudy thing.
That is incredible, dude.
How good is Kerr?
He's unreal.
That's so good.
Yeah, if you're listening, it's me as Rudy being carried off the field, wearing the number 45, fingers in the air. I mean, that is amazing, man. Thank you.
Yeah, I told him I'd
And
throw in a
and
little
Kerr
plug.
Smith is like, thank you for doing that, man.
Yeah,
That's
KerrSmithCreations.com, I think.
unbelievable, dude. I love it. And I got there's the Michigan student section in the background, it looks like, which means in this hypothetical scenario, I've just beaten the University of Michigan at their field, and I'm being carried off the field. I love it. That's amazing.
Big house,
dude.
man.
Yeah,
We've got
in the big house.
We've got a digital copy of that we can send you
Dude,
to.
that's so cool. Thank you, man.
No problem. Thanks for doing
Wow.
the podcast, man. We
Wow.
really appreciate it.
That is so cool. I didn't know I'd be showered with gifts like this.
Hey, man, it's Christmas
I'm
time.
into it. I'll do it again, next week if you want.
We've been asking our guests. I just said, with it being Christmas time, we've enjoyed giving gifts this year to people. But do you have a time in your life when you remember specifically that Santa was not real?
Yes.
When was Christmas ruined for you?
Man, I don't remember when, but I remember exactly how it happened. It was my older sister broke the news to me. I was asking about Santa. I think I was maybe, what's a age that's not weird? When does this usually happen? Is there like a typical age?
old.
I found out.
Y'all were old?
I found out in fifth grade.
I was fourth grade.
Fifth grade's pretty late. Dude.
Yeah, I know. No, mine's so embarrassing, dude. My teacher in fifth grade goes, "Not gonna be here tomorrow. I got, Santa's got a little shopping to do." And I'm sitting there like, "What the hell is she talking about?" And then she goes, "Class, raise your hand if you believe in Santa." And I'm just like, look around. No one else has their
You're
hand
the only
raised.
one.
No. One other weird girl that was just like, well, I don't believe in Santa Claus. That's silly. I believe in, like, the spirit of Santa Claus, bringing all the joyfulness.
My God.
I'm just wrecked. All right, what about you, Ray? Yeah, same thing.
Wow.
Where's Christmas?
Fifth grade, yeah, that fifth grade's probably pretty late, but I'm almost jealous of you. I think I was 7 or 8, and my sister, like, pulled me into the bathroom and was like, hey, like, you keep asking about Santa, like, he's not real. And I was like, oh, yeah. I was like, yeah. I go, but, like, the Easter Bunny and stuff is all real. She was like, no, it's all fake. I was like, yeah, I knew that.
But not the Tooth Fairy, right?
Yeah, Tooth Fairy still, yeah. Man, yeah, that's a big moment. I remember middle school, 7th grade math. My math teacher, who was also the head football coach, Tim Trokey, he was doing a number of, like, math experiments to prove that Santa would be impossible. like if he actually delivered to every Christian house in the world, how fast would he have to go? That kind of stuff. And there was one girl in our class that was like, I will not do this. Like, he's real. And it's 7th grade. Way later you would be making fun of this girl at that time. That's how much later it is. But she's like, well, I just refuse to do it. And the coach is like, I don't know what to tell you, dude. You're old. You should know that he's not real. This is pretty upsetting.
You're about to get your learner's permit.
I know, yeah, dude. You could have a job right now, and you need to get over this. Here we go. We got a sorry, the movie's playing right now. I don't know if people
we
know
get
that.
into it.
It's just rolling, but this is a great scene right here. This is Sean Astin as Rudy is about to take a bus to South Bend. Don't really know what he plans on doing there. I mean, he is like 25 at this point. He has no money. He has not been accepted to Notre Dame, but he's like, let me just go to South Bend and see what happens. And his dad is confronting him right here at the bus stop. And his dad delivers maybe, I think, one of the most iconic speeches of this movie. He says, come on, dude, just be happy with who you are. Be happy with our life. There's nothing wrong with being a Rudiger. You can have a damn nice life being a Rudiger. Notre Dame's not for us. It's for rich kids, smart kids, great athletes. It's not for us. It's like a really powerful moment between him and his dad. And then at the very end, he just tells his dad, I don't want your life. I want my life. I'm going to get on this bus and just go to one of the worst cities in America real quick and just sneak onto Notre Dame's campus. This is a powerful moment.
Be a janitor.
yeah, essentially. I don't think he has any of that planned out now. I don't know what he is planning on doing. Anyway, I don't mean to sidetrack you there, but this is, I haven't seen this movie. I probably watched this movie, I went through a period where I watched it a lot, and now it's kind of, maybe twice a year I'll watch this. I still cry.
When do you watch it? Is it like a college football's about to start? I'm getting hyped.
I think, yeah. When it's about to start, I'm in the mood. I'm just thinking about it. And then it's just a random thing where, I don't know, I'll see a clip online or something, and I'm like, I got to watch that movie. Or I'll see Jon Favreau or Vince Vaughn or somebody else that's in this movie, and I'm like, well, I got to watch it now. You know.
What scenes make you cry?
Man, there's a few.
When he's doing the speech in the coach's speech.
Lee Rodney speech.
Oh, in the actual locker room?
In the locker room. That got me.
Yeah, and then the other, that, golly, this watch is like.
We're trying.
Yeah, this watch is like, dude, you're bombing on this podcast. I'm trying to help out a little bit. I'm going to take this
Maybe
thing
try
off
a different joke.
Yeah. I'm not quite sure what you meant by that joke. You should keep that out of the way. No, I would say just the emotional climax at the end where he's carried off the field and his dad's watching him and his brother's watching him and D-Bob is watching him. It's like it's pretty emotional, man. I'll cry at the end of that. Another scene everyone cries at is the highly fictionalized scene where the players come in one by one and put their jersey on the desk, which just, never happened. It's a nice scene. There's a bunch of things wrong with that scene that kind of annoy me. There's a bunch of inaccuracies in this movie that are pretty drastic. And that's one of them. In that scene, there are names on the back of the jerseys, which is never... I mean, that seems like a small detail, I'm sure, but it always bothers me.
Oh, my God.
And there's a bunch of parts of this movie where, like, he's looking at one thing on campus, and then he turns around, and he's like, there's the stadium. And you're like... If you've ever even been to camp, like that's 2 miles away from where you just looked from. That's infuriating to watch. And then the big one is in this movie, Ara Parseghian is portrayed as the hero. He's the old legendary coach. He puts Rudy on the team, and he promises Rudy, I'll let you play for one game, right? And then... he leaves, and Dan Devine becomes the coach, the former head coach of the Green Bay Packers. And then Dan Devine is sort of painted as a guy who doesn't want Rudy to be a part of the team. He's the coach that's like, reluctantly letting him go in the game. And in reality, the exact opposite was true. It was Dan Devine that was behind Rudy. It was Ara Parseghian that was indifferent. And apparently... Dan Devine's family is still like furious at how he's portrayed in this movie. He's portrayed as this...
He's the villain.
Yeah, he is essentially the villain of this movie when in reality, he's the guy that made all this happen. So if you know stuff like that, like the movie, parts of it hit you a little differently, but it's just a great story, I think. I don't know if I wasn't a Notre Dame fan, I don't know if I'd like this movie. I mean, do you guys like this movie? Neither of you are Notre Dame fans. But do you like the movie?
So even like I would argue to say that there was like a classic like rival. I wouldn't say rivalry, but we played each other, and there's just so much history. For the longest time, it was Alabama, Notre Dame,
Right.
national championships.
Yes.
Fans would argue back and forth.
Yeah.
You growing up in Alabama, I'm sure you hate a lot of Alabama fans. and
Yeah,
have a huge
some of
disdain
it.
for
Well, I
them.
grew up. How old are you guys?
I'm Joe's age.
Okay.
I'm 30.
Okay, so yeah, you're closer to my. We both grew up. I mean, Alabama was terrible.
Oh yeah,
in
Auburn was
childhood.
6 in a row.
Right.
Fear the
I remember
thumb.
Fear the Thumb.
Yeah,
I remember
dude.
all that.
That
Pretty
was-
arrogant they were, huh? And then,
Yeah.
Look at what they're
Yeah.
doing.
it's almost like they deserve what's happening to them now.
Man, that was just great to hear.
Oh yeah. I was an Alabama fan growing up, but it was like maybe they were different back then because it was the Mike Shula years. It was like
Yeah.
it was the what
We
was
were
the coach
humbled.
that got fired in like a month? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, Mike Price.
Yeah, Mike
Yeah,
Price.
it's
Yeah.
rolling, baby.
Yeah.
The price is wrong.
Yeah. So I feel like I was just in Alabama and I was trying to describe this to somebody that I feel like I don't mind Alabama fans that are around our age because they're different. These young kids, like a 20-year-old Alabama fan, has never known anything other than dominance
Spoiled rotten.
and success. They've never had anything bad happen in their lives, ever. But if you're, Notre Dame was, Alabama wasn't good until I was 16 or
2008.
17. Yeah, 2007, 2008 when Saban came. So, yeah, it's definitely different. Notre Dame has not won a national championship since 1988, which is 3 years before I was born. So, I mean, we're coming up on, golly, it'll probably be 40 years before we win a champion. Hopefully it won't be that long, but I mean, it's been a long time. So I think we're due. We're due for the same thing that happened in Alabama. You know, we need a Nick Saban.
Well, I can't imagine he's going to stick around much longer.
You don't think so? How old is he? He's in his 70s now?
Yeah, he's 70-something.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
He
I just
seems
think
healthy. He seems spry.
I don't know what else he'll do,
Uh-huh.
but I just think you eventually have something where you're just. I think. Honestly, but the way looking at him this year, I think he's on medication already.
Really?
He was just so calm in like moments where
yeah.
you would normally see him just ripping someone's head off, and he was just
Yeah.
like, and it was like, dude, that dude's on Xanax or something. Like he's on something to chill him out. He can't have a heart.
Have you seen that GIF that kind of went viral again? I see it all the time of Saban at LSU and Will Muschamp
Just-
at LSU, and they're both just like, yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, it's different energy now.
You were asking about Rudy. I like Rudy. I think if it was all true, I would love it. But I
Yeah.
still really like the movie. I think it's good. But I was curious. I know your answer is probably Rudy. But Nick, what are your favorite white guy underdog story? Is it Rudy, Rocky, or Eminem?
8 Mile. 8 Mile's up there, man.
My answer's Eminem. I don't know what yours is.
So I think I don't like this. I watched this movie when I was in 7th grade, and I just not made the basketball team,
Oh man.
and was at an all-time high for like underdog. Like I'm gonna make the team. I even went to the coach and just asked if I could practice with the team and not be on the team, and he was just like, no. And here's the thing, I really like that guy to this day. Coach Calvert, he's the man, but he was just like, you can't do that. Like, then there's no point to making the team.
Yeah, it's not how teams work.
And I was like, well, then next year I'm going to make it. Guess what? Didn't make it then either.
Whoa.
Had to rewatch Rudy and learn some new lessons
Yeah.
about perseverance. But it was definitely one of those movies.
Did you ever make the team?
Oh, yeah, I did.
Okay.
I ended up playing all through high school.
Oh, well,
so-
yeah, you should include that in the story.
Yeah, it's funny. Though.
That's like,
But it was such a movie as a 7th grader that you're just like,
Maybe one day I can go in garbage time.
Yeah, dude. Maybe
totally.
maybe I can dress for a game one day.
Yeah,
Like,
no, I like this movie too. Like, we're not star athletes, so like this is closer. To
oh, you
what
can
we were.
relate to this.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
A coach being like looking at you and just going, I don't know, son.
Yeah.
I don't see it.
Yeah.
You know what? I talked to a guy. I met a guy randomly, an old man after a show, and he was wearing a Notre Dame national championship ring. And God, this sounds like a fake story, but he was on this particular team, and I think he overlapped with Rudy for like a couple years. So of course I asked him. I go, well, what was Rudy like? And he goes, ugh. And I was like, what? I mean, I love the movie. He goes, yeah, the movie's great. In real life, I mean, that kid was annoying as hell, dude. Everyone was like, tell this kid to shut up. This kid's not good enough to be on the team. He just keeps yapping. Everyone's like, be more like Rudy. And you're like, dude, I understand that part of the story too. Mm-hmm. Imagine being the kid that is good enough to be on the team. You worked hard to get there. And then this kid was just handed a spot and he's terrible and he's annoying. You're like, hey, dude, shut up for a bit. You know, there's one scene in this movie where he's like, I'm the starting defensive end for Purdue. Like, and you're like, no, you're not. You're 5'0", 100 and you shouldn't be on this team.
It does make you hate the scout team, like hero, a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Rudy became a derogatory term for like a try-hard.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah. Dude. No, I mean, you know the guy, like, playing sports, it's like he's running too fast or throwing the basketball at your feet. Like, you're like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I definitely felt that.
Yeah, there's a kid, my senior year of high school, there's a kid that was a freshman. And I won't say his name because he's easily Googleable. But he... summer workouts, I remember it was like one of the first days of summer workouts. We were running wind sprints and we finished, and then the coach comes out and he goes, all right, well, we were going to be done, but this kid over here said we need to run more. And it said his name was like John or whatever. And we were like, who the hell is John that told the coach we should run more? And it was a freshman. That was like a try-hard kid that was like taking it so seriously. He goes to the coach and was like, we can do more, coach. And the coach loved that. So he was like, yeah, let's. And then, dude, I cornered that kid in the locker room. I go, I don't know who you are, dude, but if you ever open your mouth at practice ever again, like, we will beat the crap out of you. Yeah.
We'll give you plenty.
So you're Vince Vaughn.
I'm Jamie O'Hara. Oh, yeah. Oh, no. I guess I am, yeah. But that's an insane thing to do. And it's almost like I'm teaching you a valuable lesson. You don't do that in life. Do you know what I mean? You don't
try at things. I get it.
No, that's not. It's not a trying. You don't go, well, we can do more. No, you shut up, you freshman. You know, maybe I am Vince Vaughn. That's okay. So a lot of this is a scene. This is Jon Favreau and Sean Astin. They're supposed to be at Holy Cross, which is a community college right across the street from Notre Dame. But they film a lot of these scenes in Notre Dame classroom buildings. I think this is in Oshag, where I had a lot of classes. That's O'Shaughnessy Hall on Notre Dame. They're telling you it's Holy Cross. Don't believe it. They're lying to you. They're on Notre Dame's campus right now. I've walked down that hallway many a times right there. There's a Starbucks right around the corner from it. They don't show you that.
Man.
So, yeah, it's probably...
I feel like we're getting catfished by the movie.
It's probably pretty annoying to watch this movie with me, I'm sure. But I can point out a lot of stuff in this.
No, this is awesome.
Yeah, there you go. That's the real practice field. Anyway.
Would they have just let him walk in?
No, well, they're stopping him right there, yeah.
And look at how huge these dudes look.
Yeah,
especially
they're big.
Like, I feel like the 90 like big offensive lineman was so much more like in shape and big and just I don't know. In these movies, I always look at these guys and they look like monsters, but they had to be like 50, like 40 years old men.
Maybe, yeah. They did a good job picking the, because I always felt like the players in this movie looked pretty realistic. The other football players.
Yeah.
So they did a pretty good job with that. Yeah, look at these big boys coming up.
Yeah,
right
these
here.
guys are just hog
These
mollies.
corn-fed, straight off the farm.
Big old mules here.
They look like they play for Iowa.
Yeah, they did. The Nebraska, one of those teams, yeah.
I've heard you talk about this guy's inability to, like, clap.
Oh, golly. At the end, during the climax of the movie, they cut to him. And he's waiting in one of the tunnels, and he's watching, and he just like just the worst clap I've ever seen in my life. It was my friend Brad Sativa pointed that out to me. He was watching it, and he goes, that's the worst clap in cinematic history. I was like, yeah, I mean, maybe it is. I'd never thought about it. I was caught up in the moment, Brad, but yeah, I guess it is a bad clap.
What do you think Sean Astin's best role is?
This is to me sort of his defining role. Before that, probably Goonies. People knew him from before this. I mean, Lord of the Rings was way bigger than Rudy, obviously. It was like one of the biggest franchises in the world, but I still think of him as Rudy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm watching Lord of the Rings, and I'm like, man, Rudy and Frodo are going off the...
It's very similar, too. He's like, Frodo, come on, let me try the ring. Like, I can, just give me a shot, man.
Come on, dude. Give me the ring, dude.
Put me in, coach.
Defensive end for Purdue.
Potatoes, boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew. He's really good in that movie.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
also in Stranger Things, I think,
Mom.
right?
Doug Whitmire.
And he's like a really
50 First Dates.
Oh, right. He's great in that. Mm-hmm. He's got a weird like lisp that whole movie.
He wears like a mesh shirt the whole time.
Yeah. Good actor, man. Solid actor. But he'll always be Rudy to me. It's like, man, I don't even know the guy's name. The guy that played Hambino from The Sandlot.
Yeah.
That will always be that guy. He'll always be that to me.
What's the greatest sports moment you've ever experienced, like as an athlete? Like, have you ever had something close to a Rudy moment, or like, I know no one picking you up, but maybe you felt like this feels like everyone would carry me off in my mind.
Yeah, I have to dig back pretty far for that, unfortunately. I remember I was playing for the Montgomery Seminoles, and in the midgets division. That's what our age group was called. I don't know if they still call it that. My guess is they probably changed it. But we were the midgets division. We were playing Tallahassee, Alabama, at Hot O'Brien Stadium. And I played defensive end. And I have video of this. I've posted this before, but I have video of interception, pick six for the win at the buzzer as like a 7-year-old kid. And I remember thinking even then, I was like, well, this is the peak. I mean, this is like a moment. This is a crazy moment. I'll never have anything cooler than this. And I have the video of that, and it's a lot less dramatic looking.
Than what you remember it being?
When you're in the moment, you're like, this is the biggest thing ever. And then you're watching the video, and you're like, those kids can barely run out there. It's like, it doesn't even look like a real game. But man, it felt real in the moment, And I've got to watch I've been in the audience for some cool sporting events, but on the field, that's where it peaked.
Nah, that's more special.
Age 7, unfortunately. Didn't even believe in Santa Claus back then.
Probably why you threw yourself into sports.
Yeah. That's why you were on the team.
Do you have a Rudy moment, Nick, or anything? The closest I had is pretty bad, but it's just I hit a buzzer beater at the end of the third.
That's pretty cool.
But not even the end of the game.
End of the third quarter?
Yeah. But it was still sick. Like I was a short guy, so everyone was like cheering.
Crowd went crazy?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's cool, man.
Yeah. Last time that happened, too, for me.
Yeah, I think I scored a basket one time in a game.
That's not bad.
My Rudy moment was, I think, my senior year when I didn't even play in this game and a photographer showed up and I was featured on the front page of the paper like 4 times. And I was like, they kept using pictures from this game that I did play in, and it just looked like I was our star player all year.
He's very photogenic.
Yeah. I was just really passionate. There was one picture of me, like, I'm not even in the game. I'm on the bench and I'm jumping in the air pointing at someone.
Yeah.
And they like used the picture a ton, and it really was
man.
like.
That's awesome. You remember being in the paper was a big deal?
Oh, huge deal.
Yeah, it's about as big as it got.
People, hey, saw your paper this morning?
Yeah.
Must have been a good game last night. Let me buy you a Chick-fil-A biscuit. You're just like, oh my God, this is awesome.
In the paper. Everybody reads that. I mean, you're famous now. You're in the paper.
Especially the Coleman Times.
Yeah.
Big city brought up right there.
Yeah, the Coleman Times. You're from Coleman, Alabama?
Oh, yeah.
Woo!
Do you know any Coleman people?
I do know some Coleman people. I knew a lot of a tour that I did. All the crew was from Coleman.
Oh yeah. So Shane Quick.
Yeah, all
So,
those guys are from Coleman.
I
Yeah.
helped start. Me and Shane started. I think Rock the South years ago. I helped him with that. He started it, and him and like Jay Barker, Sarah Evans, year one took it over, and me and a guy named Nathan Ball went in and worked with them. And,
Oh, wow.
And kind of built that festival.
Dang, Coleman is a small town.
Right now?
Yeah, it must be. But I remember the joke when I started doing shows in Birmingham. The joke was like, you always look for a reference of like, what's the redneck town? What's the hood? Just so you can slip that in. And what would really kill in Birmingham, if somebody was a redneck, like, what are you, from Coleman?
Oh yeah.
And then that would like murder. And either that or like Bessemer. Those were the two references.
I actually could have guessed that was your name.
Yeah.
You said
Those would always get a laugh in Birmingham for sure.
No, playing up the white kid from Coleman, like big surprise. Like,
Right.
Definitely, like all that always works. Like
Yeah.
Bishop and me did some rooms together. And I love Bishop. Like he's my guy, and he'd always be like, "You'll do well in my room. Come in." And I was like, "All right."
I just did a long run with Bishop, man.
He did tell me one time after a set, this is so funny, he came up to me, he's like, "Man, I like that joke you did. I've been really working on my double Sinatras too." And I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Yeah, them double Sinatra, that's funny." And I was like, "Do you mean double entendre?"
Double
he was like, "Oh shit." He's like, "Yeah, I did mean that." And I was like, "Did you just think it was just like classy as shit, like Frank Sinatra?" He was like, "Yes."
Double Sinatra. Oh my God, that's crazy, dude. I can't wait to say that to him next time I see him. I remember, God, this was like a few months ago. He was like, he said he'd never bought anything off Amazon before.
Wait, what?
I was like, what? He goes, I just don't trust him. I was like, it's like the biggest company in the world. What are you talking about? He's like, yeah, what happens if like I order something and it doesn't show up? I was like, Bishop, this is insane. Just order something, it'll show up, and if it doesn't, you get a refund. And he's like,
I love
okay,
that
I'm
you're wearing the IPS hat, right?
I guarantee.
Yeah. I guarantee on-time delivery, okay? Forgot I was wearing this. Logistics. It's what we do, okay?
This is insane to me.
Yeah.
That's so.
Yeah, man. I mean, we talk about that every time I see him. He's like, he ordered one thing. He was like, it came. I was like, yeah, dude. Yeah. They're a big company. They're doing pretty good. It's going to show up at your house. Crazy, man. He's an interesting guy. This is we got a scene in the movie right here where this is sort of a weird plot line of this movie where the trade-off, Bebop is tutoring Rudy in exchange for Rudy helping him hit on women across campus.
He's not really even helping him though. He's just hitting on him for
No,
him.
he's doing nothing. Yeah. Well, he's not hitting on this girl. He just wants to paint the helmets. He just wants to be around the equipment. It's just so weird.
Such a tryhard.
Golly, I just want to be near the pads and like smell the shoulder pads and like.
Which is just a terrible, horrible smell.
Yep.
Look at that little CCR playing right there. Love it. Yeah. They use real gold in the paint. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
They paint the Notre Dame helmets real gold in the paint. Pretty expensive, I imagine.
Yeah.
But what they say is they get gold from the gold dome on campus, and then they use that to paint the helmets. Who knows if it's true? They're still telling people that, but
So is that why they're Golden Domers?
yeah, because that golden dome on
Okay.
campus. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Golden Domers is not an official. It's not an official name.
Yeah.
But
It's not.
Yeah, it's a colloquialism, I guess. Yeah.
I'd love to hear Bishop say that.
Colloquial.
How many practices or hits do you think you could take? Like, The montages are rough in this movie.
Yeah, I think I could. I'm bigger than Rudy is, and I've played football at a high level. No, not really. I mean, I played high school, like big time high school football. I played. I wasn't good, but I could take some hits. I mean, I would.
St. James. Where'd you go?
I went to Catholic high school.
Okay.
Catholic high, but I moved. My junior year of high school, we moved to Nashville.
Oh, okay.
So I went to 2 different high schools.
Okay, I didn't realize that.
And the high school here in Nashville was like the division we were in was all the best teams in the state. So we were kind of the punching bags of that division for a while. So I played against, like D1 people all the time. And I would get tossed around, like he's getting tossed around for sure. But I could hang in there. I could survive it. I mean, I have CTE for sure. But I got you ever had a really bad concussion?
Oh, multiple. I had
Really?
He was like a different person for like a month or 2. After
Wow.
High school.
Yeah.
Do you ever worry you never fully recovered?
Not till now.
I mean, how would you even know if you're fully back to where you were?
That's a great point. I mean, I had several, but one was so bad I couldn't drive. Like I was playing basketball and I went up. It was right before my senior year, and I went to get a rebound off the rim, and a guy like ran under my legs, and I literally came back and landed like on top of my head.
Wow.
And went in the locker room, and I was like,
That's probably why you didn't make the team the first 2 times.
yeah, probably. And then I went back and played, and then all of a sudden, next thing I know, I'm in the locker room and I'm naked and I'm crying because I don't know why I'm naked and why there's people around, and the rest of the day was just kind of like in and out of like people talking to me and like walking me to class, and I was kind of a prankster, so they're like, Nick's just screwing with us. He's just like I literally, someone told me I was just walking across the quad, and they're like, where are you going? And they like took me to
Do you have
class.
clothes on again by this point?
No, I had I had gotten dressed.
Why were you naked?
Because after basketball practice, you would check. Like what our coach did, he made us get to school at like 6 a.m, and we had first period athletics.
Wow.
So we would have like 3.5 hour practices.
That's crazy.
With the last like 30 minutes being like shower up and then go to school for
Right.
6 hours or whatever it was. And so I just, in the shower phase, I guess I came to, it was just like, why am I naked? Like, what's happening?
Am I in prison?
Yeah. Like, what's happened? I was getting a rebound and now I'm naked.
It would be tough to black in as naked.
It was.
In a room full of dudes. Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely, I had some questions.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, dude, concussions scare me, man. I had a bad one in college. I don't know if I'm back to what I was.
What were you doing?
Playing football.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just.
And I was hospitalized for a night at this the hospital on campus, and man, it messed with me for about a week. And then after a week, I felt like I could talk normally again. But who knows if I'm back to what I was?
That's scary.
I like to think I was a little sharper back in the day.
Well, you still talk pretty well.
Hey, thanks, man. Talk pretty good. Thank you.
Yeah. What's your worst sports injury? Is that it?
I had a lot. I was just at one point, my family, we have 4 kids. At one point, all 4 kids in my family were on crutches at the same time for different stuff. My brother had some sort of injury. My sister had hip surgery. I had knee surgery. My little brother had something. So
8 crutches laying around.
Yeah, and we didn't go in public that often when that was happening, just because we went to I remember we went to a Chinese buffet in Montgomery, Alabama. My parents walk in, and then 4 kids with crutches, and people were like, what are they doing to those kids over there? They were all just sports-related injuries. I had knee surgery in middle school. I broke my back in 5th grade. I wore a back brace for almost a year.
Oof.
In high school, I broke my back again, my lower back. I broke my wrist. I've sprained both ankles. And
That was not as good as the broken back.
no, sprained an ankle, yeah.
I'm glad you built up to that.
Yeah. My finger jammed once.
I got a bad hang there.
I tore my rotator cuff. in baseball.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Did you get surgery?
No.
Yeah, you just did the exercises to build it back up.
I think I just ignored it. I think I just stopped playing
That's
baseball.
one way to do that.
Yeah, it hurt really bad though. But yeah, it's all, I don't know. Because I think about this a lot with fewer and fewer people letting their kids play football.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be a real problem 15, 20 years from now. Like football won't be the same. Because the more we learn about it, the more it's like, yeah, you should not be doing this. Like, it's like gladiator stuff. I don't know. I would have to really think about it. If I have a kid, like, would I let him? I just think about all the injuries I had, and it could be worse for. I don't know. I think I let them play if they wanted to. I still think it was worth it. Do you know what I mean?
Well, you learn a lot of sports in general. You learn a lot of lessons and just character building, how to deal with difficult people you don't necessarily like or would be around,
Right.
Bullies.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, they could be a Boy Scout and learn all those same things.
Not near as cool though. You're gonna be a lot funnier hanging out with the football team.
I feel like those Boy Scout masters.
You're about to go along with me, and then you're like, nah.
I asked my dad once because you get older, you're like, Dad, why didn't I did a Boy Scout? My friends can like build fires and do stuff. He was just like, you see who were the Boy Scouts? Like those kids were nerds. I don't want to hang out with those dads.
No, that's exactly. He took me to one den meeting.
Oh, he didn't want to hang out with the other dads.
He took me to a den meeting.
Yeah.
First one, it was like an introduction where it's like, you're going to do Boy Scouts. Here's where we're going to sign up. Like, and Dad looked around the room and was like, all right, son, you're not doing Boy Scouts. I was just like,
That's so
we're a
funny.
football family.
I was super excited about it because on Fridays, all the football players wear jerseys to school, like their little like Cyclones, and all the scouts wore their Cub Scouts outfits. And I was like, well, I'm not going to be wearing a football jersey anytime soon. I don't want to just be a loser wearing normal stuff.
That's so funny. You never think about that as a kid. The parent being like, yeah, I don't want to have to associate with these dorks. Man. Do you think, were there bullies when you were in high school?
Yeah, they were my friends.
Oh, really?
I mean, it was not like, they weren't bullies, but it was more like, I think it was never like a physical thing. It was always just like verbal.
Yeah.
Like, just, it was more like a roast battle every time you went into school. Don't wear something stupid. Like, don't draw attention to yourself.
Yeah.
Like, or you're going to get roasted. I got roasted all the time.
Yeah.
I think instinctually I like turned into a bully, just like
Yeah, you had to
Defense
have,
mechanism,
yeah,
right?
you had to have like shit loaded up too.
Best defense is a good offense. Yeah, I never saw, like, there's bullying in like TV shows and movies, and I just never saw that.
That was always fake.
Yeah, but that must go on somewhere.
It was more like the bullying was more like, this movie was more realistic bullying
Yeah.
than like what I've ever seen, really.
In what way?
Vince Vaughn just being like, you suck, dude. I hate you. Like, do you not see that you just like lame as hell, dude?
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna quit the team because people like you.
Yeah.
Like, I've been in that
Man.
situation where you're just like, God, why do people like this guy?
But it's always, I never saw like a give me your lunch money, that kind of bullying.
no, like every day too. Like, oh,
Yes.
that's the school bully right there.
Yeah, they wait at the bus stop and beat you up every day. Like,
Wearing like a leather jacket.
yes, exactly.
Old Biff.
Yes. I always think of the kid from A Christmas Story.
Oh yeah, he's a good one too.
Yeah, what was that guy's name? I don't know, Farkle or
Oh,
something
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. Yeah,
That's
something like that. Yeah. I've never seen that in real life. Here you go. He's getting rejected from Notre Dame again. Oh, actually, I think he's about to get accepted. Here he is.
Oh yeah,
That bench, he's sitting on this bench, which is now a famous bench.
this is a powerful moment too.
People will go and sit on this bench just to sort of recreate this moment. He's opening up the letter, and he's been accepted to Notre Dame. And here's a moment that will really get you.
Yeah.
Is where he runs to his dad after this. He immediately takes his letter to his dad, and he says, I did
How about them apples?
Oh, man. I wish. He shows his dad the acceptance letter, and his dad, like, can't believe it. And he's like, I did it, Dad. And then he announces over the speaker at the plant. He goes, my son's going to Notre Dame. My son's going to Notre Dame. Oh, it's an emotional moment.
No,
man.
that is great. His brother's just seething too.
Oh, his brother hates him.
I'm surprised he wasn't wearing a Georgia Tech jersey at Rudy's game.
Here it is. Yeah. I did it, Dad. I did it. That's good stuff. I imagine if you have father issues, which I don't, that this is a really, really powerful scene.
Yeah. Father-son stuff gets me. We got a great dad, but father-son stuff just always gets me.
Yeah, you know what? It gets me too, man. Field of Dreams, like that
Oh.
kind of stuff. Yeah.
So Rudy, when I was at Rick and Bubba, called in, or I can't remember if he came in studio or called in and did an interview, but I just remember his promo.
Yeah.
So it was just like, it's like if you were on there, you'd be like, hey, I'm Aaron Weber, and you're listening to the Rick and Bubba show. And Rudy just kept saying his name over and over again.
This is Daniel Rudiger. This is the
Yes.
real Rudy. Okay.
Yeah. He goes, I'm Rudy, the real Rudy from the movie Rudy. And they're like, I bet I've heard that promo so many times, and every time it's like, dude, he couldn't have said Rudy one more time. Like, he couldn't have squeezed it in.
It's all he's got. You know, he was in prison, not prison. No, I think he wasn't. He was arrested for insider trading. I
There's a
think.
pump and
Wait,
dump.
what?
A
It was
pump
a
and
pump
dump.
and dump.
scheme.
No
Yeah.
way.
Did he do jail time?
I think he had to pay like a 10% of what he stole.
Wow.
So it's like,
Yeah.
you know, he's okay, I guess.
All right, good for
But
him.
no, when I learned that, I was like, oh yeah, he's definitely a scumbag.
Dude, how great would a Rudy Longest Yard movie have been?
Yeah. Your next gift is a Rudy NFT.
Oh man, that's great.
We're putting together a team to place the gods.
No,
Rudiger.
no, that is funny. He doesn't even make the convict team.
It's a walk on there.
I mean, they had a good team.
This is the tryout montage you were talking about earlier with all the hard hits and
Oh
stuff.
yeah. After 2 hits, I was like, I'm going back to JUCO.
Dude, in Longest Yard, I am thinking that Adam Sandler did remake it. They could have totally done that gag.
Wait, what?
Longest Yard, when the Adam Sandler remake,
Yeah,
he loves Rudy. He loves.
Oh, yeah.
They could have
Yeah.
totally done that
Yeah,
gag with Rudy not making the team.
We gotta get in touch. Adam
Yeah,
Sandler
I'm gonna let Adam know.
for the remake.
So what's interesting is a major part of this movie no longer applies, where NCAA used to limit the number of people that could dress for the game.
Yeah.
And the whole point of this movie is we'll let you dress for one game. And now you can dress,
100 and something.
300 kids out there. So the whole point of this movie doesn't even apply
It's
anymore.
only road games now that you really have to get numbers down because it's like how many people can travel.
Right,
So
right.
that's your only making the travel skill out. Because even at Alabama, there's kids that get scholarship. That's like, oh wait, I remember freshman guys that when we were signing up, they're like, oh, DJ Hall or whatever's in town this weekend.
Yeah,
Because he
yeah.
didn't travel with the team or whatever.
Well, that's a much less powerful movie, I think. If I just one day I want to just be able to travel,
Yeah.
if that were the goal of the movie, I just want to dress for an away game.
I've always wanted to play in Iowa so bad.
Oh man,
So
what a great movie!
We got to bring it up. Recently, I watched the Manti Te'o
Oh
documentary.
yeah, what'd you think?
I mean, I did not expect to be crying and feeling.
Oh
for the guy.
yeah, dude, they get you at the end.
Yeah, man, that really
for sure.
I feel so bad for. I mean, he's
Yeah.
definitely ignorant. I feel like it's his family's fault a little bit, just being so sheltered.
He was a naive kid
yeah,
for
he's
sure.
just not,
Yeah.
yeah. But it's just your heart breaks for him.
Right. I was so glad. It was the first time I've seen a sympathetic portrayal of those events to him, because I feel like every piece of media I've seen about that is making fun of him. So I watched it kind of reluctant because I thought it would just be more of the same.
how I
But it
felt.
was they did a really good job.
Yeah.
And I think it's totally changed the narrative around him.
Well, they humanized him.
Yes.
Because I think he was so larger than life that football season that everyone was. It was almost like holier than thou. People were excited to see him get got a little.
It was like
bit.
the
Yeah.
Tim Tebow type thing. You
Yeah.
want to see that guy fall.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, that to me is a big part of it. It's ESPN or whatever, they love building these people up, and then they love tearing them down, right? And I never thought I think people never really looked into or saw the whole story at all.
People, and I thought they glossed over it a little bit or just didn't. That when that came out and it was like leading up to the national championship game in 2012, our Alabama fans were unruly savage. The stuff that I was seeing posted on Facebook and all the jokes, I mean, it really was. I mean, like when you look back to it, it was just like, dude, that time period, they were just savages.
Yeah,
them.
everybody. I mean, it was the whole internet. It was everybody. Thankfully, it was after the game. It didn't come out till after.
No, it was before the game.
No. The story came out after the national championship game.
Are you sure?
I'm 100% sure. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, 100%.
That's what the
Okay.
documentary said. That you said otherwise, but I thought there could have been maybe some leaks
I thought
or
it was
something.
leading up to it. Because I remember making a funny thing. I remember seeing several things leading up to that game because I thought it was right after the Heisman that it started to leak.
I don't know.
All right, maybe I'm just.
The national championship game was January 7th.
Yes.
And then I think it was January 15th that Deadspin article
Okay.
came out. So it was
Okay.
after we'd already lost.
Okay. Maybe we're just piling on.
Because then I remember people retroactively going, well, this is why we lost, you know, and I was like, no, we just got
But you could tell
obliterated.
like it did. I mean, Alabama I think is the better team.
Just
but like he was
manhandled
so
us.
like
Yeah.
mentally not there.
Yeah, I mean, how could you be?
Yeah.
You know, the craziest part of the story is he's at the Home Depot award ceremony and he gets a phone call from his dead
Oh,
girlfriend.
yeah.
And he's like on commercial break and she's like, I'm on the run from drug deal. I mean, that's crazy. It's crazy to be dealing with that on national television. I can't imagine.
And then find out it was like your former teammate.
I know, dude. Renaya Tuwasasopa.
Ugh.
Crazy. My buddy, my roommate who walked on the team, I was with him in the dorm room when we saw that story being broke. And his gut reaction was, he was like, this is nonsense. I talked to her on the phone. I talked to the girl, and I was like, what? And he said he was in the locker room one day, and Manti was on the phone with Lene Kukua and said, hey, my buddy Kevin's here. Say hi to him. And he said hi to her and gave the phone back. He's like, I talked to her. That was a real person. It was a dude the whole time, man. Isn't that crazy?
That's wild. That is.
Yeah.
And like, I love that people were like, well, the voice sounds a little off. And then in the video, they do like the match test and like, yeah, that's pretty spot on.
Yeah, dude.
Nick on the drive back with Uncle Todd, I asked him about it and he goes, you know, I just think if it was me, I'd have to see some cooter.
That does not surprise me in the slightest.
Golly, that's funny.
Uncle Todd.
I think another thing they touched on in that documentary is this was before catfishing is something we all know about now. It's sort of like it's a term everyone knows. The Manti story happened before catfishing was sort of a term that everybody knew. It was the early wave of this internet dating and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think he didn't have the benefit of knowing everything we know now. And the other part of it was, like you said, he was sort of a naive kid from a devoutly religious family from Hawaii. Like
Yeah.
he just, you know,
I doubt
was
he
a
had a
sucker for that.
laptop and stuff like till he got to college or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? He definitely, like, man.
Looking good now, though.
Yeah, he's looking great now. He's got a beautiful
Got that new
wife and
haircut.
kids. Yeah, dude, he's looking solid.
Sharp. I was proud. I
He's
was
looking
like,
sharp. I was watching it with my wife. She was like, well, he's actually, like, good looking now. I was like,
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, he's a superstar.
Heartbreaks cleans up a
I
man.
know, right? Yeah. He was so good, man. They talk about in the documentary, there's people waving the lays in the student section. That was me, dude. I was in there.
You
I was
were
in
at
there
that game?
waving those
That's
lays.
cool.
Oh, yeah, dude. Storm the field in that game. It was a good time.
No, it was a great story. I mean, I joked too with Nick just watching that documentary, being Alabama fans. It's cool being like, hell yeah, we're the villain here.
Yeah, y'all were so good. That was Eddie Lacy.
yeah, dude.
Yeah.
And he ate himself to death.
He didn't die, did he?
No.
Oh,
He just gained like 400 pounds and couldn't play running back for the Packers. And we went to Wisconsin and started eating all that cheese.
I remember started showing up to training camp and stuff, just massive.
They're like, yeah, they called him Circle Button because the spin move was so good. People were like, dude, he's just like
He turned
moving in a
into
circle now.
it.
Yeah, he like not the same.
Oh, that rules.
Yeah, poor Eddie Lacy. I'm sure he's doing all right.
But yeah, I just thought that whole story is cool. I mean, it's such an embarrassing story for him to turn it into such a powerful
win.
testimony. Yeah, no,
It is very embarrassing. And then everyone just started, people forget, and then everyone just started calling him gay after that. And he was just like, I don't know, dude. I just got duped. Here's the famous scene. This is the scene that we've been talking about the whole podcast. This is where the lineman, the starting offensive lineman, felt bad for him, so just let him go. And then Rudy calls the scene. He goes, come on, dude. I'm the starting defensive end of Purdue. Come on, dude. And the lineman, here he goes. He's looking at him. He goes, he's about to take him out. Here it is. And he hits him again. Stay down.
Oh, yeah.
That probably happened every day.
He gets up like a little brother right there.
Yeah,
Oh, he does.
like-
Yeah, come on, dude. No, I'm fine. Sniffling. But then he confronts him here in the parking lot, and he's like, listen, dude, you're going to get yourself killed if you keep doing that. And there's Vince Vaughn on the left.
Handsome. Vince
Jamie
Vaughn.
O'Hara. He was a handsome young man, Vince Vaughn was.
Good head of hair right there.
This is his debut.
Is it really? It's his first movie?
Officially is listed
really?
as, yeah.
That's, him and Jon Favreau. are like-
Swingers on the...
Yeah, they're together a lot.
Dude, what a meathead.
Yeah, that actor.
That
They
dude
picked
is
that actor
just
perfectly.
Hey,
He's just doing his job, Jamie. Can it? What black guy has ever said can it? I think about that every time I see this movie. Have you ever, I have a lot of black friends I've grown up around. Have you ever heard a black guy say can it?
that's the whitest thing I've ever heard, actually.
He's just doing his job, Jamie. Can it? My God, who wrote the dialogue for that?
a white guy.
Yeah, a white guy for sure. Last practice of the season, and this a-hole thinks it's the Super Bowl. You just summed up your entire sorry career in one sentence. And as it is, you've just made it from the B team to the C team. Oh, man, I love
To
it.
me, you are Rudy with the quotes a little bit.
We're going to do it.
You know the whole speech, don't you?
Oh, yeah, I could probably quote this whole movie right here. If you had 10th of the heart of Rudiger's, you'd have been All-American. And as it is, you just went from the third team to the prep team. Get on, get off.
Do you think Rudy was offsides at the end?
I've seen the. He's not in the movie, but in the actual real life footage, he probably could be.
Oh,
Probably
yeah.
could be
I watched the real
offsides.
footage, too, because he doesn't even really get the whole tackle by himself.
It's a partial sack that they give it to him. Yeah,
Half sack, if you will.
yeah. Well, he's in the thick of it. You know, he's in
yeah.
the mix.
Mm-hmm.
It's no interception return for a touchdown.
No, it's not as dramatic and powerful a moment as that for sure. But there's no movie about me, so I can't knock Rudy. He might have been offsides, but it's like, who cares? It was garbage minutes. You know, the game was over. The game was over.
Garbage minutes. Those are prime time playing time for me.
Yeah.
You love garbage
I
time.
was just saying. Here
Call,
we
him
go,
the,
dude.
call him the garbage man.
It's stats, baby.
Showtime.
Fans are leaving. My time to
There
shine.
you go.
Well, Nick, you got anything else or any thoughts you want to wrap up?
Man, I honestly just really appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule to
Of
come
course,
hang out
man.
with us.
Sorry it had to be this early. Sorry I missed y'all in Birmingham. But
No, this
yeah.
worked out great.
Yeah.
So it's everything happens as it's supposed to. So
Good
thank
deal,
you
man.
again, man. Appreciate you for taking time out of your day. And
Absolutely.
joining us.
Thank y'all for having me. Thanks for all the gifts. That's very nice.
No
I'm
problem.
gonna put this yarmulke on. I'm gonna put that on a Christmas tree, and I'm gonna write a letter to John Fogerty and ask him.
We all know you're watching Kings and Queens season 3.
Of course I am. Of course I am. That is the best season. It's so good you gotta watch it more than once. Thankfully I got more copies than one. You know. Y'all are the best. Thank you, man.
Watching